Hello, this is J.N.S. Happy Friday, and I am glad you guys are having a good day and going to have a good weekend. I'm so glad to be doing this particular um, video as well. And so it's Freaky Friday lecture, and we are covering a pretty cool topic. Okay, we are covering Tantra, however you want to pronounce it. We're going to be covering the basics of Tantra sex. So it's a little more than basics because I'm actually going to be playing the audio of my book on Tantra. And so uh, the book itself, I have to say, is a little more advanced than beginner stages. But nonetheless, you'll learn a lot if you're interested in, you know, listening to the listening to the audio. Sorry, I got a little distracted because I was trying to share my book actually. So we're going to be listening to the audio of this book, Tantra for the Human Soul, Exploring Sexuality for Bliss and Enlightenment. And so for those who may not know what Tantra is, it is a couple thousand years old practice that is rooted in sexuality. It's a philosophy system that comes out of the Shakti school of thought, which is of the divine feminine, of course. It originated in India. Obviously, the idea of tantra and this notion of sex magic and sex for spirituality transcends, any particular geographic location. So they obviously have, it's not called tantra, but they obviously have a similar concept in Africa. uh, they had one in West Africa and in Egypt, and they have different names, but the one we're focusing on is the one from the East, well, India in particular, and that is called Tantra. And Tantra is a Sanskrit word that means to weave or to compose. Okay. And so, again, it's a 1,000-year-old practice. It includes various modalities and techniques to connect with yourself and the divine. And remember, this is more of the Shakti school of thought. So it's a very it's inherently feminine. Tantra is inherently feminine. There are various paths within Tantra. You have the esoteric Tantra that's found in Buddhism. We have the one that's found in Hinduism, of course, and then in regards to Shakti, you have some various paths within that school of thought as well. You have the Kuala Upanishad, which is more of the left hand path. You have the Kali Tantra. You have more of the Tantra that is geared towards communing with the divine. That could be a specific deity or a specific entity. And then you have one where you can do it by yourself for healing. That could be healing from sexual trauma, even perhaps a certain condition, whether that be like erectile dysfunction or something with the womb, maybe something going on with the womb, PCOS, whatever it may be. You have tantra for that, and then you can also practice with your partner. For pleasure or for manifestation. You can use tantra for manifestation with your partner or by yourself as well. And so traditionally tantra is not used for manifestation, but when it came to the West, more so in the Americas, um, it took on like a Western, like a sex magic type of thing, and so you can use it for that as well. And so with my book, we'll be mainly talking about more of the traditional form of tantra for more of spiritual awakening. um, the book does cover the sexual aspects of it, including Kama Sutra, the actual Kama Sutra poses, various poses that are in the book. You won't be able to see that. You have to buy the book to see those poses. And so um, we also cover like the tantric massages, pranayama, which means breath work. So various breathing exercises, yantras, which are like geometric patterns that kind of can get you in sort of a trance, or they kind of unlock doors. So we talk about yantras. We talk about kriyas, which are like actions that usually are meant to like detox the body, or uh, is usually kriyas usually work to cleanse out of the body. That could be a certain enema, a certain breathing exercise as well, tongue scraping, oil pulling. All those things are like kriyas. And then you have like the kundalini yoga. We talk about bandhas, uh, mudras, which are like hand gestures that are meant to convey or to manipulate energy around you through earth, air, water, and fire. Each element in ether, you have earth, air, water, and fire, and ether, and they correspond with a particular finger, and then you um, move your hands in certain ways, certain gestures to invoke those elements within the hands because there's chakras in the hands. And then we have mantras, which are like chants to invoke a certain atmosphere or energy or archetype. And so this is what's in the book. Again, some things you have to visually see in terms of the pictures. You have to visually see it. And I don't believe we cover, like, as far as the audio I'm playing. I'm pretty sure it's the redacted version. I made this audio, believe it or not, like almost a year ago. I'm just now getting to like playing it because I was working on the Divine Feminine series and other stuff, and just working in my mind was just on others, thinking of other things. So um, I never got around to putting the audio on here, and so I felt like, with the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning, as well as like our Freaky Friday lecture, I thought it was a good segue to to getting the audio out there finally. Um, and for those that's wondering, like, well, what is this whole series? It's a series that is about sexual education. The Freaky Friday lecture is about educating the Noctians in our community in particular on various modalities and techniques of sexuality. So it could be spiritual sexuality, even acts, bodily functions. It's educative. It's supposed to be informative. It's not supposed to be too serious. And so, we've been doing this for like, I want to say maybe this is third or no, this is the fourth week. And so we're seeing how it goes. I told myself I wanted to make more content specifically for the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning. And so here we are testing it out. A lot of the content has already been ready. I just, was kind of stalling on some of these sexual topics because I didn't know how people would react to them. Some people are prudes. And so maybe that was my own projection. It could have been my own projection. But nonetheless, I felt bold enough to get this material out. And so here we are talking about the Tantra. So if you would love to support me, I would appreciate that. If you could purchase the book, that would be great. But, nonetheless, you get a treat with the redacted version. And so, Tantra really started to get popular in medieval India across various kingdoms of particularly like the two major dynasties in India. So it was the Guptas in the north and the Vagatakas in the southwest. Okay, and so those are the kingdoms that promoted sexual tantra, or they had like public temples and that incorporated tantric deities as like guardians and whatnot. And so there's various tantric deities. Kali is one of them, but you also have Bhairava. You have uh, what's the other one? No, Brahma is not. Brahma is not a tantric deity. Some may say Shiva is. Again, this is it's a more feminine school of thought. And so we know we have Kali. We know we have Parvati. And there's more. Again, Buddha. In Buddhism, they have their own esoteric tantric school of thought. And there's arguably maybe more esoteric than the Shakti. you know, in terms of the understanding, because believe it or not, the sex aspect of tantra is very minute compared to the entire body of thought, and so with the Buddhism, their esoteric tantra is geared towards holding energy in the body, particularly the energy of gods through sexuality. And so they're going to keep a lot of that stuff under wraps. Shakti does talk about that as well, but it's more of a lightweight version versus the Buddhism version is more heavily it's more heavy. And again, there's various reasons why you would use tantra. You could use it for manifestation. You could use it for greater acceptance within your own sexuality, to cure ailments and for healing of mind blocks around sexuality. It can be used for pleasure. It's normally not, but it can be, or it can be used for spirituality, to connect with the divine, to connect with God, to connect with yourself, to hold energy in the body of a God through sexuality. That is very powerful. So you could do it that way. And then sometimes, lastly, it's used for meditation and for transcendence, to reach higher states of consciousness through that could be the orgasm itself, or the retention of the orgasm, the recycling of the bodily fluids. And so, Tantra, again, if not just to practice with your partner, or by yourself, but even just with your partner, as a couple, to get close to one another, to build more intimacy, just on a simple level. It doesn't have to be, oh, let's do it for manifestation, or let's try to, do it for a god, or, it depends on where you're at with it. What do you feel comfortable with? And so I would obviously encourage you to do more research. You could read my book, obviously listen to the audio. There's plenty of scholarship citations within this Tantra book, and including some original documentations from various philosophers of Tantra. And so you can, if you want follow-up material, you just look at the sources of the book itself. Again, we used PhD level citations. We used those who have experience as esotericists in the field for decades, of tantric practitioners, again, tantric philosophers of various tantric texts, the tantric text itself, some things, again, that are published by universities. And so, you may want to start with the citations in the back of my book if you want more research, or just Google, not Google, YouTube, Tantra, especially if you want to see some of the poses. Like if you're interested in the poses, it would be wise to kind of, go on YouTube to see if you can find some of those things. But again, the Tantra is a part of the divine feminine. That's very important to understand. Okay, there was a lot of goddess worship in medieval India, as you know. And so there's a lot of tantric goddesses, and they were known to have like a lot of erotic power, very maternal, sexy, like even with Kali. Kali owns one of the entire schools of thoughts within Shakti of Tantra itself. Like, there's, if you were to look up books of uh, tantric sex and Kali, it would, so many things would pop up. Matter of fact, we probably could do that now. People become like practitioners of Tantra. Let's see, practice Tantra. You see, Tantra explores the enlightening path of Tantra, unveiling a practical guide to internal bliss. Kali rising, foundational principles of Tantra from her transforming planet. So there's things on. Again, this is a lot of this is supposed to be like, you know, it's not like necessarily hidden information, but information that is nonetheless polarizing, and so it's, you may not find, um, you have to do some research. Here go. I have this book, Tantric Kali: Secret Practices and Rituals. So these, some of these things are published out there for you to get, and so you have to take your time to study it. Kali, the Black Goddess of Dakshineshwar. And so there's a lot of information about Kali and Tantra, Bhavara, Kali, and Dharma manifestations of Tantra. So these are the various deities that are associated with Tantra. So that could be something as well. 24 aspects of Mother Kali. So I mean, you get the point. But yeah, Tantra sex, they call like the practitioner yoginis, and some of them were believed to be like shape-shifting goddesses who could shape-shift into various characters. Okay, and then some of the they're also called tantrikas as well. And so these women would use sexuality to access powers of, it could be to astral project, to obviously seduce others. It could be succubus, to fly. And so again, these are very esoteric topics that we're covering, and it's something that I wanted to talk about. And a lot of people, they believe it or not, they use tantra to have their kundalini awakening. Now, there's various ways, obviously, to have that kundalini awakening, but for those that are interested, tantra sex is one of those ways, because you're infusing your chakras with sexual power. And so you have to be careful with that, especially if you're working with a particular deity. But nonetheless, the Shakti, it starts as the serpent at the base of the spine. Okay, and so to awaken that goddess energy, you could do it through breath control and during the release of orgasm itself. And so, Tantra also teaches that, and I cover some of that in the book. So nonetheless, we'll start with the audio, and you guys can get a sense of what Tantra is. Now, I did use one of those Indian voices for the voiceover. I just thought, because there's a lot of Indian words, and there's a lot of Sanskrit words rather, and so I wanted you guys to hear it how it would be pronounced by someone that speaks Sanskrit. And so I just used Indian voiceover, so that you guys can hear the correct pronunciation of many of the words that are in Sanskrit. And I feel like she did a good job, because she pretty much pronounced them correctly. And so I wanted you guys to hear that in its original accent versus my American accent. And so I thought I'd just give you that, tell you that, just in case. And so, yeah, let me start with that.
For the human soul, exploring sexuality.
Wait a minute. Here, I'm going to start it over again. Okay, so I'm going to have to play it. Okay, so I'll play it now, and I'll be back once it ends to end the video. Okay.
Tantra for the human soul, exploring sexuality for bliss and enlightenment. Kali J.N.S., published by Nakti University. Chapter 1. Why Tantra for the human soul? Tantra is a powerful ancient practice that has been used for centuries to align humans with the divine and promote spiritual growth. It helps us to become more mindful, compassionate, and aware of our inner truth. By connecting with our inner goddess or god, we can access deep levels of healing and transformation. Tantra teaches us how to use love, breath, movement, sound, and other tools to raise our vibration and increase pleasure in our lives. Through tantric practices such as meditation and conscious breathing techniques, we can also gain insight into ourselves and our relationships with others. We can learn to surrender and connect with the divine feminine and masculine energy, allowing us to open up to more love and discover greater joy and pleasure. This book will talk about the benefits of Tantra. The practice includes sacred sexuality, kriya, rituals, kundalini, energy force, mantras, chanting, mudras, gestures, asana, poses, Kama Sutra, sex poses, and pranayama, breathing exercises. These practices teach individuals how to use their sexual energy to create powerful experiences that help unblock physical, mental, and emotional blocks. Ultimately, Tantra aims to bring individuals closer to their true nature as divine beings while connecting with a higher power. It provides techniques to break free from egoic limitations and tap into soulful energies that can transform our lives. By learning to open ourselves up to a greater awareness and understanding of the universe, we can access an inner peace that will last forever. Very few of us were allowed to learn about sexuality and sexual love through formal education. Consequently, we often carry belief systems that generate feelings of guilt, fear, insecurity, or shame within our subconscious minds. These negative imprints may only cause slight unrest at times, but they rarely allow us to explore the spiritual side of lovemaking. Fortunately, Tantra can assist in this endeavor since it places as much importance on a couple's spiritual purpose as their relationship. Chapter 2. What is Tantra? Ancient Tantra views sexual love as a sacred ritual integral to its spiritual system. Tantra is an ancient set of esoteric Hindu texts that date back more than 2000 years. These writings discuss different sexual practices, disciplines, and meditations between the divine energy, Shiva as the penetrating power of focused energy, and Shakti, signifying female creativity, also known as the power of Tantra. Shiva Shakti is the convergence of divine awareness with creative energy, a powerful blend of masculine and feminine energies that create one unified entity. This union enables us to transcend into an all-encompassing state of unity or oneness. These sacred tantras began to manifest in India around the 6th century CE, with a significant number composed for approximately 1000 years. Additionally, these scriptural texts were known by other names such as Agama, what has come down to us. Thus, this tradition can be called the Tantric or Agamic tradition. In the early centuries of the Common Era, Tantric teachings revolving around Vishnu, Shiva, and Shakti were gradually revealed. Subsequently, all primary contemporary forms of Hinduism embraced these new Tantric lineages, including Shaiva Siddhanta tradition, Srividya Shakta sect, Kaula, and Kashmir Shivism. Vajrayan traditions, part of the Buddhist faith, are also well known for their elaborate tantric practices and concepts. Examples include Indo-Tibetan Buddhism, Chinese esoteric Buddhism, Japanese Shingon Buddhism, and Nepalese Navar Buddhism. Additionally, Southern esoteric Buddhism indirectly parallels those same principles without using them explicitly as a reference. It is clear that these Tantric Hindu and Buddhist philosophies have had an immense impact on other Eastern religious ideas such as Jainism, Tibetan-born tradition Taoism, or Shinto from Japan. Definition of Tantra. Some theories indicate that Tantra derives from two Sanskrit words, Tanoti, meaning expansion, and Raiti, symbolizing liberation. Therefore, Tantra can be interpreted as liberating energy and expanding awareness past its physical form. In simpler terms, Tantra enables one to unleash their inner power and open their mind. Such principles are the foundations of all genuine yogic practices. In Indian traditions, the Sanskrit word, Tantra, has various interpretations, such as theory, doctrine, or simply a book. While the term can mean any type of book, more often than not, it denotes sacred texts that are believed to have been divinely imparted by a deity. Western spiritual teachers may cite that the word Tantra means loom or weave. However, these definitions can be found in dictionaries as a homonym. Contrarily, none of the Tantric texts have ever suggested this is what Tantra indeed implies. Although the origin of Tantra remains unknown, some interpretive etymologies provide insight into its deeper meaning. According to one popular interpretation, the word comprises two parts, tan and tra. The former translates to propagate, while the latter means save or protect. Together they encapsulate Tantra's essence as a practice centered around expanding knowledge while protecting those who pursue it against harm. Furthermore, its name comes from its ability to spread, tan, wisdom that saves, tra. We can think of Tantra as an instrument for developing, tra, and intensifying, tan, similar to how we view mantras for manipulating the mind, man, or yantras for commanding the environment around us, yan. Contemporary instructors often refer to tan, which means stretch and expand, while emphasizing that Tantra is so named because it stretches our awareness and amplifies our capacity to experience joy. Ramakantha, a renowned Tantric scholar and guru who lived around 1000 years ago, defined Tantra as an inspired set of teachings that explain what is needed to worship God and provide directions on essential rituals for initiation into the practice. Furthermore, it outlines methods of purification that are required before one can undertake proper tantric practices. The teachings of Tantra are laid out for adepts who seek to reach their highest potential while also fulfilling the everyday requirements of life. The Tantra system encompasses many forms of yoga, such as mantra, kriya, kundalini, hatha, and ashtanga, 8-limbed, collectively referred to as the right-hand side of Tantra. In Kundalini Yoga, there is an immense reservoir of energy within our sexual biology that can be activated and channeled with specialized yoga practices. These techniques evoke ecstatic sexual power to continually affect the nervous system through morning and evening sittings, including deep meditation and spinal breathing pranayama at its core. Furthermore, asana, mudras, and bandhas are integrated into these rituals to aid in spiritual enhancement by harnessing this untapped potentiality. Through these practices, one can gain an in-depth understanding of this ancient approach to spiritual enlightenment. On the contrary, the left-hand side of Tantra Yoga embraces pleasure in our physical world and endeavors to utilize these indulgences for spiritual growth. This concept is often called the underbelly, or darker, part of yoga that many traditionalists attempt to avoid. However, it serves a meaningful purpose in elevating one's bliss consciousness. Yoga offers two paths to self-realization and enlightenment. The direct awareness path involves formless meditation on one's innermost self. The technique path encompasses techniques and rituals to understand our identity fully. This second path can be further divided into left-hand Tantra and right-hand Tantra. This school of thought is distinct from Advaita, or non-dualistic, philosophies which focus on the direct realization of one's self as Brahman, a concept Tantra believes requires mental and physical preparation before attainable. Thus, Tantra is a gradual yet feasible route forward for most people seeking self-realization. Tantra invites us to recalibrate our goals and put spiritual growth through sexual energy at the forefront instead of mere orgasms. It's a fundamental shift in perspective, allowing us to strive for something far more significant than physical pleasure alone. By channeling this transformative power, we can reach heights beyond what we ever thought possible. Tantra is not a feat to be achieved quickly. Instead, it is an ongoing process that develops with time and patience over months or even years. Tantra is not just sex. Before we delve into Tantra's intricate and enigmatic aspects, it's vital to understand what it is not. Contrary to popular belief, Tantra is far more than just sex. In fact, its teachings on sexuality only make up around 5%-10% of all that comprise this comprehensive system. When studying tantric knowledge, one must remember that numerous facets and layers go beyond physical intimacy. Tantra has become renowned for its yoga of sex label. However, the sexual aspect is only one part of what it encompasses. These ancient texts provide an all-encompassing lifestyle that touches upon physical and material realms, psychological facets, and spirituality. Its goals far exceed excellence in lovemaking. Tantra aims to bring about a greater understanding of life. Are you aware that Tantra predominantly relies on meditation, pranayama, breathing techniques, and other daily sitting practices? Although it encompasses sexual energy in the process of yoga, the fusion between our divine self and outer world, we must accept this fact to progress further. If we want to foster our nervous system's potential, then incorporating our sexuality into the journey becomes necessary for enlightenment. In many cultural backgrounds, even some Western societies, celibacy is a traditional element in the quest for spiritual life. Each individual must explore different pathways that could lead them to an elevated state of consciousness for progress to be made within the larger community. However, if everyone chooses to take the conventional route toward achieving a spiritual awakening, this collective movement will shrink and eventually dissipate. For centuries now, couples have used tantric yoga as a way to satisfy their mutual spiritual and sexual needs. How can these two seemingly opposite forces coexist? By looking inwardly, we can unlock this beautiful blend of sex and spirituality like never before. Tantra is not a religion. Tantra is not a religion but an independent spiritual practice that anyone can embark on with the right attitude and commitment. Unlike outwardly focused religions catering to the masses, Tantra is esoteric. It focuses solely on the inner self. There's no room in the traditional Tantra teaching for dogma or creed. It is instead an exploration into self-science through the practical study of oneself. Historically, authentic tantric teachings were closely guarded and only shared orally by a master to disciple after a long process of preparation, practice, and purifying. Thankfully for modern spiritual wanderers, these gems are now widely available. Chapter 3. Why Tantra Sex? Tantra sex, otherwise known as the spiritual practice of sexual meditation, has been gaining popularity in recent years. This ancient Eastern tradition offers a variety of physical and psychological benefits to those who engage in it. One benefit is that it encourages deeper connections between partners. Tantric sex techniques involve slow and deliberate movements, often including breathwork and eye gazing, which help to create a deeper bond between the two people. The practice also offers an opportunity for couples to explore their sexuality in a more holistic way than traditional sex. It encourages partners to connect spiritually, increasing trust and communication in the relationship. The physical benefits of Tantra sex are also significant. This is due to the combination of physical stimulation with relaxation techniques that helps create a calming effect in the body. It can help reduce stress, improve circulation and respiration, increase energy levels, and even lead to an increased libido. As such, it can be an effective tool for couples looking to explore their sexuality more. Finding time for spiritual exploration can be problematic in the hustle and bustle of our day-to-day lives. Fortunately, Tantra provides a fast path to liberation, ultimately offering practitioners an accelerated way towards spiritual maturity. This is enabled by its energy utilization as both a catalyst and catapult for evolution, thereby providing modern people with one of the most relevant and applicable paths today. Energy is an immeasurably powerful force with boundless potential. When properly comprehended and manipulated, as the ancient Tantric did, energy can construct whatever we desire, including liberation from this tangible realm. No matter your temperament, Tantra has something for you. Its numerous paths and branches appeal to all personalities, from the daring adventure seekers to those who are more contemplative. It encompasses a variety of human capabilities, imperfections, and spiritual inclinations to provide an enriching experience for everyone. In Tantra, masculine and feminine energies are honored and celebrated. The two poles represent a dynamic balance of creative expression that is integral to a fulfilling tantric experience. The masculine provides the firm direction towards exploration, while the feminine offers gentle guidance in accepting pleasure as it comes. The qualities associated with each energy can be used as a guideline in tantric practices. The masculine is often associated with strength, confidence, and assertiveness, while the feminine is seen to possess the subconscious, compassion, and fluidity. One can achieve a deeper connection between two partners by focusing on these energies. Yin and Yang are other concepts describing energy's duality in Tantric sex. Yin is associated with feminine energy and possesses nourishment, cold, and intuition qualities. Conversely, Yang is associated with masculinity and embodies hot, activity, and strength. Recognizing that both energies are necessary for a successful connection between two people, neither should be considered superior or inferior. Instead, both need to be respected and appreciated for what they bring to the table. When practicing tantric sex, it is vital to allow both partners to explore their unconscious desires and those of their partner to build a deeper connection. The yoni and lingam. The yoni and lingam are integral parts of tantric sex, which focuses on enhancing the physical and spiritual connection between two partners. The yoni is the female sex organ commonly associated with female sexual energy, while the lingam represents its male counterpart representing the male sex organ. Understanding these concepts can aid couples in deepening their intimate connection and ultimately achieving a more fulfilling sexual experience. When engaging in tantric sex, both partners should take the time to familiarize themselves with the yoni and lingam. Doing so allows each partner to understand better how their body works and facilitates communication between them. It also helps cultivate an appreciation of each other's bodies and differences. The lingam is often considered a symbol of power and strength, while the yoni embodies a sense of nurturance and receptivity. When both partners understand this dynamic, they can use it to create balance in their relationship. By understanding how each partner's body responds to different sensations, both partners can become more in tune with each other. The yoni and lingam also have spiritual connotations associated with them. In Tantric sex, the yoni and lingam are seen as two sides of the same coin, representing masculine and feminine energies. When these energies come together harmoniously, it can create a powerful and healing experience for both partners. Tantra rejects the idea that spiritual growth and enlightenment can only be achieved through abstinence from worldly activities, as popularly believed by many faith traditions. It embraces all of reality as one entity instead. Tantrikas, tantric yogis, perceived suffering to arise from our false perception of the division between earthly and heavenly realms. To overcome this misconception, Tantra endorses the appreciation of the physical senses to transcend materiality eventually. All of reality, including the natural body, emotions, and relationships, is just an expression of divine energy. This idea may appear paradoxical to many people because it contrasts with religious teachings. However, according to ancient Tantra texts, this concept can be utilized for personal enlightenment. We can all unveil our innate divinity through joyous living. We are taught from a young age to avoid speaking about or touching our private parts in public. Even those who practice holistic and healing arts, such as massage, may hesitate to work on the sexual chakra. This taboo often results in feelings of shame surrounding sex. It is okay, however, to openly discuss all other body parts. Both genders struggle with negative associations concerning menstruation. Men often feel uncomfortable and squeamish about it. At the same time, for women, there may be physical pain, fear of humiliation, or awkward accidents due to hormonal changes associated with each period cycle. Losing blood through injury or trauma is never a pleasant experience and can leave us feeling disheartened. Similarly, men may feel vulnerable when involuntary erections or premature ejaculations occur, not to mention the lack of control during climax, which results in an uncontrollable physical spasm. At one point or another, we have all pondered anxiously over the appearance of our sexual body parts, from size to shape and even odors. We were taught a distorted truth: nice girls, don't do it. Boys were taught that the only type of girl they should love, in terms of marriage or a severe relationship, seemed to conform. Girls, too, received this message and would often be horrified, or feign as such, when a boy tried to touch them. Love excludes sexuality and vice versa, for that matter. Despite popular opinion for centuries, sex does not have to be an obstacle to one's spiritual journey. Instead, when used correctly and with knowledge of its power, it can become a beneficial tool in achieving greater enlightenment. Various methods can help followers use this powerful resource depending upon their inclinations as they traverse their spiritual path. Often, Tantra gets a negative reputation due to its inclusion of sexual practices. Sexual intimacy is essential for any individual's spiritual growth and development. As humans, our heightened fascination with sex causes us to assume that's all it is about and distort the whole concept around such perspectives. Unfortunately, this frequently results in an oversimplification of Tantra, overlooking its other areas like meditation, pranayama, breathing techniques, postures, and many more subtle details. Regardless of the context, we all share a similar truth. By cultivating sexual energy pre-orgasmically over time, one can acquire an ecstatic nature that binds us together in love and spirituality. We are inherently obsessed with sex because it lies at the core of who we are, driving our desire to become one with its profound ecstasy. Ultimately, this is what defines us as human beings. This discussion is certainly not meant to encourage anyone to increase their sexual activity drastically. Rather, this book on tantric sex was written for people who are already sexually active. Additionally, we understand that leaving the focus of climax somewhat on the back burner may be a complex concept for some. However, by doing this, you will experience greater satisfaction in your overall sexual experience with your partner. Chapter 4. The 5 Sheaths. The 5 sheaths, or Panchakoshar in Sanskrit, are integral to Tantra. They outline the different layers of the human being and can be used to help us understand ourselves deeply. The 5 sheaths represent a distinct aspect within us that we must acknowledge and attend to for our spiritual growth. The first layer is the Annamaya Kosha, representing the physical body and material world. This layer corresponds with our physical form and all the experiences it gives us, including pain, pleasure, sickness, health, and mortality. It helps us to recognize how connected our physical body is with its surroundings. The second layer is called Pranamaya Kosha, or energy body. This layer corresponds with the energy that flows through us and helps to maintain our physical health. It is said that if this layer is disrupted, we become prone to disease or even death. The third layer is Manomaya Kosha, which represents the mind and mental body. This layer corresponds with our thoughts, emotions, intellect, and ability to reason. Understanding this sheath allows us to understand how we form our beliefs and attitudes and how they affect our decision-making process. The fourth layer is the Vijnaname Kosha, or wisdom body. This layer corresponds with deep understanding, insight, and intuition. It leads us towards self-realization on a spiritual level as it teaches us how to live in harmony with ourselves, others, and the external environment. The fifth layer is Anandamay Kosha, or bliss body. This layer corresponds with our inner peace and joy. It helps us cultivate a connection between our physical, mental, and spiritual selves, leading to contentment, deep satisfaction, and true happiness. By understanding these 5 sheaths within Tantra, we can gain greater clarity about who we are as human beings and how best to align our lives with a higher purpose. The 5 sheaths of Tantra help us to understand the complexity of our being, acknowledge and honor each part of ourselves, and strive for integration within our physical, mental, and spiritual selves. With a better understanding of these layers, we can move towards a more balanced life that brings us closer to our innate potential for happiness. Chapter 5. The 7 Chakras and Shakti Kundalini. Chakra is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel or disc. It refers to the 7 energetic centers in the body that are believed to be connected with physical, emotional, and spiritual states of being. Chakras are located along the length of the spine, corresponding with different areas of an individual's life and consciousness. According to Tantra, our bodies consist of 5 layers, known as sheaths. We are all familiar with the outermost layer, skin and bones. However, there is much more beneath that surface level: the respiratory system, cognitive system, discretion, and finally, at the subtle core, the chakra system, which grants us physical bliss and spiritual unification. Acting as energy conduits, the nadis connect each chakra to one or more of the 5 sheaths. This allows energy from every chakra to feed and nourish our body in a compelling way, much like acupuncture's meridians or even our neural pathways. The 7 chakras form a network of powerful energy points in our bodies, which, when balanced, can lead to harmony between physical, emotional, and spiritual health. According to ancient Indian beliefs, vibrations from these chakras affect how we think and behave. Each chakra has its unique vibration that helps us open up or close down spiritual or mental energies within us. By understanding the meanings behind each chakra and their corresponding points, we can learn to balance and maintain the health of our bodies. In Tantric art, the 7 main chakras are symbolized by a unique lotus flower to represent their personality. Every blossom comprises an exclusive blend of colors, petals, symbolic designs that possess positive or negative energy, and numerical and alphabetic values. Furthermore, it is linked with elements such as air, earth, or water while connecting with our senses like taste and touch in addition to their particular tonal quality. The 7 main chakras are Muladhara, root, Swadhisthana, sacral, Manipura, solar plexus, Anahata, heart, Vishuddha, throat, Ajna, third eye, and Sahasrara, crown. The Sanskrit names for each chakra reflect the spiritual meaning behind them. Muladhara is the root chakra that grounds us on the earth and helps us establish a sense of security and stability. It influences our physical energy, vitality, survival instincts, essential trust in life, willpower, and connection to our environment. The root chakra primarily focuses on material things and desires to possess them. Ironically, it also governs the body's elimination process. Swadhisthana is the sacral chakra that represents our creative and sexual energy. It influences our emotions, desires, pleasure, sensuality, and connection to others. The sacral chakra is positioned in the pelvic zone, where our sexual desires arise. Manipura is the solar plexus chakra that deals with personal power, control, and self-esteem. It helps us establish boundaries in our relationships and gives us a sense of clarity about who we are and what we want to be. It influences the digestive system. Anahata is the heart chakra that connects us to compassion, unconditional love, and understanding for ourselves and others. It also helps us develop empathy towards those around us by making us feel connected to everyone around us. Vishuddha is the throat chakra associated with communication, expression, and creativity. It influences the glandular system. It helps us to express ourselves authentically and be heard in a way that resonates with those we communicate with. Ajna is the third eye chakra that deals with intuition, wisdom, and insight. It allows us to access our inner knowing to make decisions based on a higher truth. Sahasrara is the crown chakra. It represents our connection to the spirit or source of energy. This energy helps us integrate the other chakras and aligns us with our higher purpose. The 7 chakras are critical components of physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being that help us remain balanced and connected to ourselves and those around us. Kundalini Shakti. At the root of our spine resides a powerful energy source known as Kundalini Shakti. This creative force is present in both men and women alike. It can be described by many other names, such as life energy, motivating energy, or even the energy of pure consciousness. Coiled tightly like a spring at this first chakra, it awaits to be unleashed. Kundalini Shakti is a powerful spiritual energy that exists within each individual. According to Hindu and yogic traditions, it lies dormant at the base of the spine until it is awakened or activated through practices such as meditation, pranayama, breathing exercises, and yoga postures. When Kundalini awakens, this energy is said to travel up the spine, purifying and energizing its 7 chakras along the way. It passes sequentially through each of the 7 body centers from the second chakra to higher ones, energizing them with its near electric charge until reaching its ultimate destination, the crown chakra. This journey results in an ecstatic state known as Ananda or spiritual union. The benefits of awakening Kundalini Shakti include increased physical health, mental clarity, heightened intuition and creativity, improved sleep habits, greater emotional balance, and spiritual connection. On an energetic level, awakening Kundalini can lead to profound states of bliss, union with the divine, and feeling connected to everything. However, it must be noted that Kundalini awakening can also have potentially adverse side effects. These can include physical symptoms such as pain in the spine or joints, extreme fatigue, insomnia, nervousness, or anxiety. It can also cause emotional imbalances such as depression or mood swings. Therefore, it is crucial for individuals undergoing Kundalini awakening to be aware of these potential risks and seek out guidance from an experienced teacher if needed. When done with proper understanding and caution, Kundalini Shakti can be a robust spiritual growth and liberation tool. Chapter 6. Kriya Yoga System. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 7. Mantras. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 8. Mudras. Mudras are an ancient yogic practice that is thought to have originated in India as early as 3000 BC. Over millennia ago, yogic practitioners developed a blueprint of the hands and how they link to different areas in the brain and body through precise placements. We frequently use finger-to-finger pressure to boost vitality by pressing down on these points. Mudras utilize the hands and fingers to create specific postures to direct energies throughout the body and open energetic pathways for healing, transformation, and personal growth. The Sanskrit word, mudra, literally means mark of grace or seal of excellence. Mudras are powerful hand gestures or body postures that can significantly impact our body's energy. Nyasa, an advanced form of Tantra touch, includes 2 mudra techniques to cleanse and energize the chakras. This ritual combines conscious touching with visualization, mantra repetition, and emotion to purify and elevate the energy centers to bring balance. Shaktipat is a typical Western form of Nyasa where spiritual teachers perform this rite on their initiate's third eye chakra. Many potential benefits are associated with mudras, including improved physical and mental health, increased concentration, better emotional balance, and spiritual development. Practicing mudras can help reduce stress levels due to their relaxation effects by stimulating specific pressure points on the hands connected to other vital body parts. The most popular types of mudras are those used in yoga and meditation, such as Prana Mudra, Dhyan Mudra, Apana Mudra, and Anjali Mudra. Each type has its specific purpose and benefit. For example, Prana Mudra is used to increase the flow of vital energy, while Dhyan Mudra helps to increase concentration and awareness. When performing a mudra, keep your spine erect and relaxed with your arms resting comfortably on your lap or knees in a seated position. To practice any mudra correctly, you should first become aware of the sensations felt when touching each fingertip together or against another part of the hand, such as the palm or thumb. Experiment with various finger combinations and be mindful of the energy created or felt. Mudras are typically practiced for about 15 minutes, but this can vary depending on the mudra's purpose. It is important to remember that although mudras can have remarkable effects on your physical and mental state, they should not be used as a substitute for medical advice or treatment. Ultimately, practice patience and kindness with yourself as you explore the world of mudras to find your perfect balance. Enjoy discovering which mudras work best for you, as each will bring unique benefits. Start with short periods, anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, and gradually increase the duration of your practice to suit your needs. When practicing a mudra, it's best to use both hands simultaneously so that each side of your body gets equal help from the practice. The Gyan Mudra, the most frequently employed mudra in Kundalini Yoga, is an assertive yet passive form that invokes knowledge. To practice it effectively, firmly push your thumb and index finger together to activate the points on these two digits. This gesture aligns with Jupiter's symbol of expansion, leading to receptivity and serenity. Unless an instructor or teacher has specified another active version of this pose, we use the Gyan Mudra as our go-to position for its strength and passiveness alike. Mudras for meditation. 1. Namaskar Mudra. Offering our palms together in a prayer-like form before the heart, we can create this mudra that joins both sides of the body while balancing energy. It encourages feelings of serenity and benevolence, which is why it's so commonly used during meditation practices. Jnana Mudra. The positioning of the fingers for Jnana Mudra is just like Chin Mudra, except that your palms and fingers are facing downwards. During the day, when we need to absorb energy from the sun's rays, we opt for Chin Mudra. However, with nightfall comes Jnana Mudra, whereby our palms remain in a downward position while keeping all power gained throughout daylight hours within ourselves. By practicing this mudra, we use the fire element of the thumb and the air element from our index finger. Doing so creates a burning sensation in the air, reducing water, air, energy, helping us focus better. It can be further understood that an excess amount of air energy harms mental clarity. Therefore, reducing it with fire helps diminish any disturbances related to mind functioning. Vayu Mudra. Vayu Mudra is created by folding your index finger into the base of the thumb and crossing over with your thumb. Despite its resemblance to Chin Mudra, Vayu Mudra serves a unique purpose, reducing excessive air elements in our body caused by stress or anxiety, skin infections, etc. So if you are feeling overwhelmed due to an imbalance of air elements within yourself, don't forget this easy mudra. Dhyan Mudra. To perform the Dhyan Mudra, you must bring your right hand over your left and press them together lightly. The tips of both thumbs should be touching while all other fingers remain linked. This mudra activates mental clarity by activating the fire element in our bodies while allowing other elements a chance to relax. No wonder this is one of the most widely known meditative mudras. Many representations of Gautam Buddha depict him using it. Chapter 9. Pranayama, Breath Work. Pranayama breath work is an ancient practice originating in India that involves controlling the breath through various breathing exercises and patterns. Pranayama has been practiced for centuries to reduce stress, improve respiratory health, and increase the clarity of mind, among other benefits. It is seen as a powerful tool in many Eastern spiritual traditions, with practitioners seeking insight into their inner world and achieving greater mental clarity. The technique of pranayama consists of three essential components: inhaling, puraka, holding the breath, kumbhak, and exhaling, rechaka. When done correctly, these three steps can create a dynamic energy flow throughout the body. The most common type of pranayama is alternate nostril breathing, in which the practitioner breathes in and out of one nostril at a time. This practice alternates between the left and right sides of the body, creating balance and harmony within. To practice pranayama breath work, find a comfortable seated position with your spine erect. Begin by inhaling deeply through both nostrils until your lungs are full. Then close off one nostril while slowly releasing the air from the other. Once all the air has been released, switch to the opposite side and repeat this cycle several times. Aim to remain focused on each breath throughout this exercise, allowing any thoughts that arise to pass without clinging on to them. This can be done for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on preference and physical capabilities. Pranayama is the art of commanding life force energy through deliberate breathing techniques. It's a tantric practice since it involves consciously and intentionally controlling prana or cosmic power. Prana has an even more subtle existence than air, it lives in and everywhere around us. And by learning to control our individual internal prana, we can also learn how to dominate universal prana. Breath regulation is a well-known technique used to reach an altered state in all forms of yoga. In Eastern cultures, breathing techniques are believed to aid the flow of life energy into the body. For couples practicing Tantra, regulating their breathing is essential for attaining partnership equilibrium and strengthening their emotional and spiritual connection. Intermediate or advanced tantric partners can also utilize two other powerful methods to intensify meditation and the physical, energetic encounters they share. Tantric pranayama. Breath of fire is a type of pranayama, or breathing technique, used in Tantra yoga for centuries. It is characterized by a rapid and forceful breath, with equal attention given to inhalation and exhalation. Breath of fire is believed to help increase energy levels, reduce stress, and improve digestion. To practice breath of fire, sit comfortably in a cross-legged position on the floor or in a chair with your spine erect. Place one hand on your belly and the other hand over your heart center. Begin to inhale through the nose while contracting your abdomen and pushing outwards against your hands. As you exhale quickly through slightly pursed lips, release your abdominal muscles so that they contract back inwards towards your spine. Keep this rapid and shallow breathing pattern going for a few minutes, letting your breath flow freely with as little effort as possible. Once you have completed the breath of fire practice, take a few deep breaths and relax before ending the session. As with any pranayama technique, breath of fire should be practiced regularly to experience its full benefits. It is vital to keep your eyes closed during practice and stay focused on your breath throughout. Additionally, it is recommended that you consult with an experienced yoga teacher when trying out new types of pranayama. With regular practice, breath of fire can help balance energy and bring greater clarity to mind and body. Pranayama draws us closer to our spiritual essence, where we can start feeling the energy flow through the delicate pathways inside of ourselves. It's an incredible practice that lets us sense and controls our chakras on a deeper level, breaking down normal physical boundaries such as time, space, and gravity with ease, leading to miraculous healing effects for your body. Chapter 10. Yantra. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 11. Tantric Meditation. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. A step-by-step Kundalini meditation. 1. Ease into a comfortable seated position. Legs crossed and back straight. Then bring your hands together in the center of your chest right above the heart with palms touching and fingers pointing up towards the sky like in a prayer pose. 2. Gently shut your eyes and focus on the area between your eyebrows, known as the third eye or sixth chakra. This is where you should center all of your attention during this exercise. 3. As you inhale deeply, divide the breath equally into 4 parts. 4. Start by inhaling in 4 even breaths, then maintain your breath and exhale slowly throughout 4 equal parts. Finally, pause for a few seconds at the end of your exhalation before beginning again. 5. As you inhale and exhale, draw your navel inwards towards your spine. Each round of breathing should take about 7 to 8 seconds to complete. Kundalini breathing exercise, empty coat sleeves kriya. Empty coat sleeves kriya is used to promote physical and mental health. It is an intricate sequence of movements designed to open the shoulders, chest, and upper back while stretching the spine and developing strength in the midsection. This particular kriya has been around for centuries but has only recently become popularized in modern yoga practice. The empty coat sleeves kriya comprises multiple steps involving various arm motions, including circles, waves, swings, and extensions. Each step can be modified for different levels of flexibility and intensity based on the individual's needs. During this sequence, practitioners should focus their attention on their breath and the proper alignment of their bodies. The primary purpose of empty coat sleeves kriya is to reduce physical tension in the upper body and create greater mobility in the shoulder and chest area. Practicing this kriya can also improve posture, increase circulation, activate nervous system pathways, stimulate digestion, and reduce stress levels. It can benefit those suffering from back pain or a limited range of motion due to tightness. Additionally, the sequence may help practitioners gain strength and balance within their bodies, improving overall health. This meditation is best practiced for 3 to 5 minutes. How to do it? Position your feet slightly wider than the width of your yoga mat, with heels inward and toes outward. Gently move side to side in a subtle twist that permits gravity to relax your arms, so they flop against your body's front and back. As you contort effortlessly, take long full breaths while repeating this motion at least 20 times for maximum relaxation benefits. Why it works? This movement specifically targets the lymph nodes in your armpit and groin areas, resulting in improved lymph flow and healthy immune system functioning. Not only is this technique practical for detoxifying and getting rid of unwanted fats and excessive fluid retention, but it's also immensely calming for the nervous system as it unblocks energetic pathways. If you want to naturally boost immunity, promote healing, or simply detoxify the body, look no further than this movement. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 13. Kama Sutra. The Kama Sutra is an ancient Indian Sanskrit text widely considered to be the standard work on human sexual behavior. It was written by Vatsyayana Malanaga in the 4th century CE and contained advice on sexual intercourse and other aspects of eroticism. The text is divided into 7 parts, each focusing on a different element of pleasure, including establishing meaningful relationships, cultivating emotional intimacy, recognizing one's desires, understanding gender differences, indulging sensual pleasures, and living harmoniously with others. The Kama Sutra was the first in erotic literature and is much more than just a sexual guidebook. In essence, Kama means desire, and the god of love and passion is known as Kamadeva. Moreover, this masterpiece covers everything from enjoying life's pleasures, such as sex, to living in harmony with others. As a comprehensive work on ways of life that contribute to acquiring physical gratification, including sex, the Kama Sutra is a timeless source of wisdom on how best people can enjoy their lives while connecting intimately with one another. One key concept of the Kama Sutra is tantric sex. This involves utilizing breathing techniques to deepen arousal during sex and create a more profound connection between partners. For example, some practices include focusing on synchronized breathing and exploring different positions to increase intensity. The text also focuses on creating an atmosphere of mutual pleasure and respect between partners. Undeniably, the most substantial and meaningful power in existence is sexual energy. This life-giving force resides inside every living organism and human being on Earth, capable of producing a monumental amount of creative energy. Not to mention, it can do something no other element can: create life. Ancient Tantric was aware of the power of sexual energy. This is why they devoted their time researching this energy, not due to an enthusiasm for sex but instead because they sought enlightenment. They uncovered that it could be channeled in specific ways to skyrocket a person toward elevated spiritual heights and heightened levels of consciousness. With the proper cultivation and application, sexual energy can be used to explore different spiritual realities, even taking one on an incredible journey directly to the divine. In essence, Tantric sex bridges sexuality and spirituality, combining them into a single entity. In addition to guiding them to achieving physical pleasure, the Kama Sutra encourages couples to nurture their relationship and foster deep emotional connection. This includes activities such as engaging in stimulating conversations, playing beauty games together, or enjoying romantic outings with one another. The text also emphasizes the importance of honest communication and trust to achieve true intimacy. The benefits of practicing the Kama Sutra range from increased physical pleasure to enhanced communication and understanding between partners. By following its teachings, couples can create meaningful connections through intimate moments that touch all aspects of their lives: physical, mental, and spiritual. As couples become more comfortable and confident in their relationship, they can better express themselves openly, communicate clearly, and focus on each other's needs. Consequently, the Kama Sutra can lead to an improved sex life and a more robust overall relationship. Many of the Kama Sutra's positions are based on traditional Indian yoga or animalistic poses, such as kneeling or straddling. These positions facilitate greater physical contact between partners and enhanced pleasure during intercourse. Additionally, some of them require great flexibility, strength, and balance from both partners to perform successfully. Sammukha position. In this position, the receiving partner leans back against a wall while standing and spreads their legs as wide as possible while the penetrating partner enters them. This position is great because you get plenty of eye contact. It also offers deep penetration. If your partner is shorter, you may need to stand on something. Janukur Para position. The penetrating partner in this position should lift the receiver, securing their elbows beneath the receiver's knees and firmly grasping their buttocks. The recipient can then use their arms to hug around the standing partner's neck for support. Piditaka position. In this position, the receiver lies on their back and pulls their knees into their chest, resting their feet on the penetrating partner's chest as they kneel before them. With the penetrating partner's knees on either side of the receiver's hips, they can raise the receiver's hips onto their thighs and enter them. Visha position. Visha is Sanskrit for the bull. In this position, the penetrating partner lies flat on their back while the receiver sits or kneels on top of them, facing their feet. The receiver then lowers onto their partner and leans forward, gripping their ankles. Tripadam position. In this position, you both face each other while standing. The penetrating partner puts their hand under one of the receiver's knees and raises it off the floor, turning the two of you into a tripod. Then the penetrating partner can enter the receiver. Indrani position. Drawing inspiration from ancient Hindu mythology, Indrani is a name that honors the captivating and alluring wife of Indra, the lord of gods. This position requires the recipient to recline on their back and hug their knees up towards them. The penetrating partner's knees can straddle the receiver's hips, so their hands are free to stimulate their body or be on their forearms. Communication is vital for this position because the penetrating partner can go very deep, which can cause pain. Lotus position. To accomplish the lotus position, have the penetrating partner begin by sitting cross-legged. Then, the receiving partner lowers themselves onto the penetrating partner's lingam, wrapping their legs around the penetrating partner's back. The receiver can grind into their partner and rock back and forth. Veshititaka position. In this position, the receiving partner crosses their legs during penetration to squeeze the lingam even tighter. Anyone can try the leg cross move to make for a tighter squeeze during penetration. Denuka position. In this position, the receiver goes on their hands and knees, and the penetrating partner enters them from behind. Denuka is Kama Sutra for doggy style. The woman lays on her back, brings both knees toward her chest, and rests her feet comfortably on the man's muscular torso. The man kneels before the woman as his arms steady themselves upon her legs. The woman can then grab the man's thighs and pull him closer for deeper penetration. The more he presses down on her knees, the greater the pleasure for her. Parshva Samput position. In this position, both partners lie side by side facing one another, where they can kiss, touch each other, and engage in intercourse while being on the same level and looking into each other's eyes. In the elephant position, the receiving partner lowers her head and shoulders to the bed while raising her butt. Her penetrator penetrates from behind, supporting his weight on his arms, straddling the outside of her thighs. In this position, the receiver lies on her back with her feet on her partner's chest. He then slides underneath her feet and kneels while entering her. The man hoists himself onto his knees while the woman's hips are lifted from the ground. She is now buoyed solely by her upper back. This is an excellent position for G-spot stimulation and men who have a thing for feet. In his work, Vatsanana outlined 64 forms of art that any individual can practice to become more appealing. These tips are fitting for all genders. Adapted from the Kama Sutra of Vatsyayana. 1. Singing. 2. Playing musical instruments. 3. Dancing. 4. The union of dancing, singing, and playing instrumental music. 5. Writing and drawing. 6. Tattooing. 7. Arraying and adorning an idol with rice and flowers. 8. Spreading and arranging flowers. 9. Coloring the teeth, garments, hair, nails, and body. 10. Fixing stained glass into a flow. 11. Making beds and spreading out carpets and cushions for reclining. 12. Playing on musical glasses filled with water. 13. Storing and accumulating water in aqueducts, cisterns, and reservoirs. 14. Picture making, trimming, and decorating. 15. Stringing rosaries, necklaces, garlands, and wreaths. 16. Binding of turbans and chaplets and making crests and top knots of flowers. 17. Scenic representations, stage playing. 18. Making ear ornaments. 19. Preparing perfumes and odors. 20. Proper disposition of jewels and decorations and adornment in dress. 21. Magic of sorcery. 22. Quickness of hand or manual skill. 23. Culinary art. 24. Making lemonades, sherbets, acidulated drinks, and spirituous extracts with proper flavor and color. 25. Tailor's work and sewing. 26. Making parrots, flowers, tufts, tassels, bunches, bosses, knobs, etc., out of yarn or thread. 27. Solving riddles, verbal puzzles, and enigmatical questions. 28. Skill in a verse game, which requires one player to begin a verse with a word that starts with the same letter with which the last player's verse ended. 29. Art of mimicry or imitation. 30. Reading, including chanting and intoning. 31. Study of sentences difficult to pronounce, played as a game chiefly by women and children. 32. Practice with a sword, single stick, quarterstaff, and bow and arrow. 33. Drawing inferences, reasoning, or inferring. 34. Carpentry. 35. Architecture. 36. Knowledge about gold and silver coins, jewels, and gems. 37. Chemistry and mineralogy. 38. Coloring jewels, gems, and beads. 39. Knowledge of mines and quarries. 40. Gardening. 41. Bird fighting, quail fighting, and ram fighting. 42. Teaching parrots and starlings to speak. 43. Applying perfumed ointments to the body and dressing the hair with incense and perfumes and braiding it. 44. Understanding writing in cipher. 45. Speaking by changing the forms of words. 46. Knowledge of a language and the vernacular dialects. 47. Making flower carriages. 48. Framing mystical diagrams, addressing spells and charms, and binding armlets. 49. Mental exercises, such as completing stanzas or verses on receiving just a part of them, or putting into verse or prose sentences represented by signs or symbols. 50. Composing poems. 51. Knowledge of dictionaries and vocabulary. 52. Knowledge of the ways of changing and disguising the appearance of persons. 53. Knowledge of the ways of changing the appearance of things, such as making cotton appear as silk. 54. Various ways of gambling. 55. Art of obtaining possession of the property of others utilizing mantras or incantations. 56. Skill in youthful sports. 57. Knowledge of the rules of society and of how to pay respect and compliments to others. 58. Knowledge of the art of war. 59. Knowledge of gymnastics. 60. Knowing the character of a man from his features. 61. Knowledge of scanning or constructing verses. 62. Arithmetical recreations. 63. Making artificial flowers. 64. Making figures and images in clay. Chapter 14. Tantra massage. Unlike erotic massage, Tantra massage is primarily a spiritual and therapeutic take on bodywork that incorporates an energizing and sensual approach. While it isn't explicitly mentioned in the Tantric texts or teachings, the celebrated therapeutic healing offers modern individuals access to advanced Tantric knowledge. With this therapy comes a reawakening of pleasure zones and paving the path for Tantric sex and other extraordinary orgasmic experiences. It also serves to reset emotions while purifying your mind and awakening your spirit. Many don't know that it can have an immense, unforeseen impact on men's and women's health. Even more remarkable, it can potentially treat various sexual issues like frigidity, premature ejaculation, or impotence, just to name a few. Lingam massage. 1. Remember that the lingam responds best to a robust and energetic touch. 2. The kissing techniques can be used on any part of the lingam without fear, but do not blow directly onto the urethral opening. To reach the man's sacred spot, you should use your middle and index finger if you are touching it externally. For stimulation via the anus, use your middle finger instead. 3. As you apply kissing techniques to the head of the lingam, use your fingers to trace and move up and down its shaft as if it were a flute. This is an approach called playing the flute. 4. During your climax, hold your spouse's lingam in your mouth, pressing its head against your upper palate. As the tantric scriptures suggest, a woman's crown chakra can release incredible energy through her palate as she orgasms. The lover's lingam works as a receiver of this vital energy. This way, she can transfer an intense surge of potent Shakti energy into her partner's second chakra without dilution. 5. Gently pull and pinch the scrotal skin between your fingertips. Afterward, carefully and tenderly place the scrotum into your mouth. You can take each testicle separately or both together. This delicate technique, which can delight a man tremendously, necessitates that the giver maintains yin energy gentle contact. This unique practice is called jewel fondling and jewel sucking. 6. To deliver a heightened level of satisfaction to your partner, ringing is an effective and pleasurable technique that involves swirling around the lingam rather than up and down motions. This method mimics the pressure caused by rings at various points along the shaft. The lingam should be stroked lengthwise to mirror the thrust of intercourse. 7. It is essential to let your partner know you appreciate both their lingam's hard and soft states. Showing them kindness when they are in a more yin manifestation can help relax anxieties, opening up new possibilities for pleasure. Men often feel like a soft lingam has no place in sex, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Learning tantric techniques to share and receive bliss during these moments can do wonders psychologically, providing acceptance they may not have encountered before. Yoni massage. 1. Keep in mind that a delicate, or yin, stroke is often preferred by the yoni, and many women experience heightened pleasure throughout the external and internal labia as well as on the clitoris head and shaft. The first inch of this intimate area is especially sensitive, so remember this when exploring. 2. Kiss the yoni just as you would your partner's lips. 3. Move across the lips of the yoni, contacting the clitoris with a flicking of the tongue or fingers. 4. Stroke the anus with kisses to the yoni and clitoris. 5. After spending some time making love with the mouth, devote an equal amount of energy to worshipping the yoni just as you would with the lingam. Swap between the two alternatives multiple times. 6. Intimately connect with your lover's intimate area by gently brushing the middle finger across it in a constant rhythm or short strokes. Chapter 15. Healing one's partner. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Base chakra stimulation. Anal sex is often viewed in an overwhelmingly negative light, with the stigma around it causing second chakra blocks. However, if done safely and respectfully between consenting partners, many couples can benefit from this type of intimate contact. Indeed, some women find their sacred spot becomes more accessible through anal sex. Furthermore, combined with rhythmic massage and visualization techniques such as deep breathing exercises, gentle stimulation of the base chakra center can be incredibly beneficial for awakening Kundalini energy and relieving chronic tension caused by stress or strain. For lovers engaging in anal sex, it is essential to take extra precautions for a pleasurable experience. Not only should you prepare with a bath and ensure the area is comfortable with pillows, towels, etc., but also trim your nails and use a water-soluble lubricant. Taking these steps will ensure an enjoyable sexual encounter. To prevent bacteria, it is essential to wash the lingam or finger inserted into the anus before utilizing it to touch the yoni. Both genders delight in this type of affection. A gentle massage of the prostate gland and its vicinity, located an inch below it, can be profoundly pleasurable. Stimulating the base chakra can lead to exceptionally intense orgasms for men. However, if you're unfamiliar with it, then take your time. Chapter 16. Semen Retention. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 17. The Press. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 18. Woman's Sexual Energy. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 19. The Bandhas. Bandhas in Tantra is energy locks, which help to redirect and store vital energy within the body. The three principal bandhas are referred to as Jalandhara Bandha, throat lock, Uddiyana Bandha, abdominal lock, and Mula Bandha, root lock, pelvic flow. All three bandhas work together to control the body's energy flow, enabling one to awaken higher levels of spiritual awareness. In Sanskrit, bandhas means to bind energy and refers to a set of postures that isolate and control muscles associated with the primary 5 chakras. Tantra instructs us on how these bandha exercises can enhance sexual pleasure for both partners. If practiced routinely, one will see significant changes within a few months. The origins of bandhas can be traced back to the ancient practice of Hatha Yoga, where they were first introduced. In Hatha Yoga, practitioners would use their breath, physical postures, mudras, or hand gestures. Meditation and mantras would lead to greater control of the body's energy. Eventually, these techniques were developed further and perfected into Tantra Yoga. Benefits of practicing bandhas include improved self-control and mental clarity, increased physical strength and stamina, improved circulation and digestion, reduced stress levels, emotional balance, heightened spiritual awareness, and better quality sleep. Additionally, some say that regular bandhas practice can help increase longevity by protecting from many diseases. Proper bandhas preparation can help unlock vital energy and promote greater well-being. Bandhas can be practiced independently or in combination with other forms of yoga, such as Hatha or Ashtanga Yoga. It is important to note that beginners should always learn the technique under the guidance of an experienced teacher before attempting any advanced postures or locks, as an incorrect practice could lead to physical injury. The bandhas are renowned for their medicinal properties, as they arouse and activate neural brain transmitters that provide pleasure signals from the yoni to the mind. For more elevated gratification, advanced students combine mudras, hand gestures, meditation techniques, and visualizations with specific exercises of the pressurizing PC muscle. Kegels. Kegels are simple exercises that strengthen the PC muscles. To do a Kegel, you need to contract your pelvic floor muscles as if trying to stop yourself from passing urine or gas, or both. These muscle contractions should be held for 3 seconds, then released for another 3 seconds, and repeated 10 times in one session. This can be done several times during the day for at least 5 minutes. By following this routine regularly, it is possible to gain control over the PC muscle and its function. Kegel exercises can also help prepare women for pregnancy and childbirth by increasing the elasticity of the pelvic floor muscles. The PC muscle should be strengthened to support the uterus and other pelvic organs better so women can move into deeper states of pleasure. Strengthening this muscle will also give a man increased control over his ejaculation, allowing him to hold back when necessary in prolonged lovemaking sessions. Building up the PC muscles through regular exercises will become the foundation of these extended sexual sessions. When the pubicoxageus, PC, muscle is feeble, it can bring about enduring tension that may lead to lower back pain. Evidence indicates that not exercising your PC muscle causes a decreased immunity against different illnesses related to the genital area, such as vaginitis, yeast infections, hormonal imbalances, and even certain types of cancer. It has been theorized that toning your PC muscles through exercise amplifies circulation, leading to an increased flow of white blood cells, which helps protect our bodies from foreign bacteria or agents. For example, women with a weak PC muscle may have what is technically called a collapsed uterus. However, in reality, it's merely inadequately supported by the adjoining muscles. Chapter 20. How Tantra came westward. The sexual revolution of the 1960s and 1970s brought an immense transformation to American culture. Precepts concerning women's sexuality, religion, and intimate expression became more liberalized during this period. People began challenging long-held Judeo-Christian convictions, recognizing that celebrating one's body, desire, and sensual pleasure can be liberating experiences. This countercultural movement fueled a wave of liberation in America unlike anything seen before it. With the countercultural revolution and sexual liberation of the 1960s, Tantra fully entered the Western popular imagination. American Tantra was a mixture of various esoteric movements such as neo-pagan witchcraft and the sex magic teachings of Aleister Crowley, Neolithic sculpture, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Tantra offered a philosophy that called for healing, prosperity, meditation, and enlightenment. It focused on gender and sexuality as healing, pleasure, and personal transformation sites. Tantra spirituality and tantric sex magic were one-way New Agers, neo-pagans, and American Buddhists experimented with sexuality as a means to enlightenment. New Agers believed that Americans needed sexual healing and repair because of the debasement of sex by Christianity, gender inequality, and sexual repression. The radical uninhibited nature of Tantra teachings made them very attractive to Americans. Tantra helped legitimize the sexual liberation movement and helped give it spiritual and political meaning. American gurus such as Chogyam Trungpa and Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh were prominent figures in the 1970s and 1980s. They were proponents of the Tantric way and helped transform traditional Tantra into American Tantra. Tantra also permeated Western pop culture. Artists like Jimi Hendrix and Mick Jagger wore tantric symbols on their clothes and musical instruments. Tantric designs were painted on the Beatles' cars, and films on Tantra were produced. The merging of spirituality with sexuality, and transcendence with materialism, created a recipe for selling enlightenment. Esoteric Tantra has been reshaped into a new, modern form that is accessible to the everyday person. This updated Tantra version centers on attaining sensual pleasure with a spiritual angle. It has become highly commercialized in videos, retreats, and books like Complete Idiot's Guide to Tantra or Nuki Nirvana. Although this neo-tantric cult differs significantly from traditional forms of Tantra, it provides an easily digestible approach to spirituality. The rise of Tantra in America started in the late 19th century with Aleister Crowley and with the Theosophical Society and Madame Blavatsky's stories of Tibetan masters who dwelt in forbidden Vajrayan Buddhism. By 1905, the first official, Tantric order in America, was established by eccentric figure Pierre Arnold Bernard. Tantra in the 1960s and 1970s blended esoteric sexual rituals from Hinduism and Buddhism and occult sex magic from the 19th century. American Orientalist interest in the Tantra sex stemmed from broader concerns about sexuality during the Victorian era. During the Victorian era, the expression of sexuality and discourse was regulated to the confines of marriage. In the Victorian era, interest in Tantra sex was categorized and classified in intricate detail by occult magicians. It was during the 19th century that the debate about sexuality exploded. Though scholars argue that this was a period of sexual repression for Americans, sexuality became a major issue in Victorian social and political practice. Americans interested in New Age religions brought esoteric Tantra to the forefront in the 1960s and 1970s. American Tantra was considered a new paradigm in New Age religion and was referred to as the cult of ecstasy and the art of sacred sexuality. New Agers defined American Tantra as a unique form of spirituality that combined sensual pleasure with the pursuit of enlightenment and hedonism with transcendence. Tantra was an answer to a much-needed liberation of sexuality, glorifying the human body and women's empowerment. Guru Swami Nostradamus Virato stated, "The art of Tantra could be called spiritual hedonism, which says eat, drink and be merry, but with full awareness." The popular discourse of Tantra has been marketed as the most sensual and erotic aspect of the exotic Orient itself. In the decades of the 1970s and 1980s, scholars have concluded that Tantra is associated with comprehensive spirituality in which repression of the human body, sexuality, and material desires are no longer accepted. Instead, they must be integrated to achieve spiritual growth. Ecstasy through Tantra, and Tantra, the art of conscious loving, was famous in the 1970s. New Agers attended Tantra workshops such as Extended Orgasms, a sexual training class, and met in public spaces to do Tantra rituals. Footage of New Age Tantra rituals is archived at the Kino Library Film Collections. The footage depicts Americans in the 1970s doing the Yub Yum Yoga pose in a park. In yoga, the Alpha and the Omega, Guru Sri Rajneesh states that yoga is discipline and is meant to center the chaos within a human being. In the context of American Tantra, Yub Yum Yoga transforms sex to superconsciousness. Guru Rajneesh believes that the sexual revolution and acceptance of Tantra occurred because society was afraid to discuss sex due to patriarchal religion and fear of becoming sexual. He states that sexual repression results in society's obsession with sex. Instead of suppressing, people should trust and accept themselves unconditionally. This rhetoric was appealing to Americans during the sexual revolution. Tantra spirituality also appealed to Americans because the spiritual message was in tune with the current socio-economic situation of disorganized capitalism and post-industrialism. Tantra was not opposed to the mainstream values of America. In fact, it affirmed and sanctified central ideals of individualism, freedom, modernity, and progress. For instance, in the case of Sri Rajneesh's Osho spiritual teachings, He offered a fluid and flexible form of spirituality that was freely borrowed from various spiritual traditions that could be adapted based on individual needs and at different price points. Some of the most influential leaders of American Tantra during the sexual liberation movement were Tibetan master Chogyam Trungpa and the infamous sex guru, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. They made Tantra the center of their radical spirituality. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, also known as Osho, was born in India in 1931. Rajneesh created an eccentric brand of spirituality in the United States in 1981. Rajneesh announced himself as the Messiah America has been waiting for, and had a successful career in America until his arrest and deportation in 1986. Rajneesh is considered the single most influential figure in the birth of Neo-Tantrism, or a brand of tantric sex marketed explicitly for a New Age, Western audience. According to scholar Hugh Urban, Rajneesh offered what Americans imagined Tantra to be, a free love cult promising enlightenment, an exciting, radical community and the opportunity to rise in the hierarchy. Rajneesh described America as freedom, opportunity, and unfettered capitalism. Rajneesh created his city called Rajneeshpuram on a 64,000-acre ranch in Oregon. Rajneeshpuram amassed $120 million in revenues in its short 4-year existence. Rajneesh's central themes in his teachings were sex and money, with the goal of spiritual transcendence. This form of American Tantra was meant to liberate his followers from a repressed society by integrating the desire for sensual pleasure with the quest for spiritual experience. Rajneesh was adamant about integrating the desire for material wealth and prosperity with spiritual transcendence. Followers of Rajneesh must be willing to enter the ultimate game of realizing the God within oneself. He states, "It is a play. It is the ultimate game. You have played at being a husband, wife, mother, being rich, poor. This is the last game. Only you are left." Rajneesh's philosophy was a combination of a wide range of philosophical and religious ideas drawn from many sources, such as Plato, Aristotle, Shankara, Lao Tzu, John Paul Sartre, Nietzsche, and Aleister Crowley. His primary teaching taught that sexuality is a power that is the most potent force in human nature and the one most severely repressed, denied, and distorted by modern Western society because of Christianity. Rajneesh argues that it is sexuality that must be liberated if modern Western students are to accept and actualize their innermost selves. Rajneesh states, Christian repression has made many locks in man where energy has become coiled up within itself, has become stagnant, is no longer flowing. Society is against sex. It has created a block just near the sex center. Whenever sex arises, you feel restless and guilty. You feel afraid. You shrink back. You don't flow. Rajneesh's method was upaya, or skillful means. He adapted his teachings to the needs of particular audiences. Rajneesh used several techniques to help his disciples release sexual repression and reach complete self-acceptance. Followers paid $50 for a one-day meditation with Rajneesh and $7,500 for a 3-month rebalancing program. Rajneesh had 24,000 members at its peak, but the commune in Oregon came into conflict with the residents. The group wanted to take over the city of Antelope and attempted to push out the residents, using terror tactics such as dumping animal parts on the lawns of local officials and distributing salmonella bacteria in local restaurants and grocery stores so residents would be too sick to vote. Rajneeshpuram ran into trouble with the US government. In 1986, the Oregon Attorney General decided that Rajneeshpuram violated the church-state separation clause of the Constitution. Rajneesh was arrested and deported back to India. American Tantric Guru Chogyam Trungpa was another influential figure during the sexual liberation movement. He offered the lightning bolt of Tantra, a sudden path, or a quick way to enlightenment. Trungpa stated, "It is dangerous and fruitless to practice Tantra without first establishing a firm ground in Buddhist teachings. Don't get into Tantra just like that. It's dangerous." Every Tantric text begins with that warning. Be careful, think twice, don't take this carelessly. But interestingly, the more you put students off, the more interested they become. In traditional Tibetan and Hindu tantras, sexuality plays a minuscule role. Philosophy on family, breathwork, and deity invocation is more prominent, which tends to be boring to the Western audience. The traditional sexual rituals discussed are embedded within hundreds of pages of dull ritual details. According to Trungpa, the Western ideas about Tantra as scandalous, exotic, and deviant are misconceptions that could lead to self-destruction. Trungpa fled a communist regime and came to America paralyzed on his left side in 1970 at the peak of the sexual liberation movement, Eastern mysticism, and psychedelic experimentation. Before Trungpa embraced the lightning bolt path, he vowed to monastic life at age 8 and led a rigorous life of study, meditative discipline, and ritual practice. In later years, Trungpa was not a traditional Tibetan monk or led a life of asceticism and modesty. He loved alcohol, drugs, food, elegant clothes, and Mercedes. Trungpa established a large following of Americans in Boulder, Colorado, where he founded his Naropa Institute in the 1970s. His followers appreciated his eccentric behavior and worshipped him. Trungpa believed his following was attached to spiritual materialism or institutional religions, which induced egoic selfishness and pride. Trungpa would enact erratic tactics to break them from spiritual materialism, such as attending his lecture drunk and breaking meditations with parties and orgies. Trungpa also instructed his students to carry him around naked. For Trungpa, the lightning bolt path is the essence of Tantra and Vajrayana thought, though it is the most dangerous and most easily abused spiritual means. Lightning bolt Tantra seeks to rid the mind of repression by embracing sexual impulses, dark energy, and violence. Trungpa states, passion, aggression, and ignorance are the source of human suffering, are also the wellspring of enlightenment. Chogyam Trungpa became the most controversial of Tantric gurus in the late 20th century Western imagination. For most Americans, Tantra has come to be defined simply as spiritual sex, or the art of prolonging climax to achieve nirvana. It is praised as a needed liberation of sexuality for a repressive Western world. American Tantra engendered the sanctification of material prosperity and financial success. Since the early 1970s, American gurus have taught that spiritual transcendence and prosperity were harmonious. Sri Rajneesh proclaimed himself the Guru of the rich. Teachings such as, the more spiritual you are, the more you deserve prosperity, and, being wealthy is a function of enlightenment, was circulated through books and videos. Tantra became a major commercial enterprise. American Tantra is now a registered trademark, and Kama Sutra card games, Tantra for dummies, and erotic merchandise now exist. Western consumer culture made Tantra an ideal religion in the late 20th century. Scholars even argue a relationship exists between the fascination with Tantra, late capitalism, and post-industrial capitalism. The sexual revolution was a complete breakdown of sexual prohibitions. Still, some scholars argue that it was more of the commodification of sex used to expand capitalism to all domains of modern culture. American gurus such as Trungpa and Rajneesh taught that the ordinary human being is sexually and socially repressed by religion and institutions. American Tantra aimed to shatter repression and attachment to spiritual materialism and propel one to the ultimate state of bliss and transcendence. Tantra was a holistic spiritual system that no longer repressed sexuality and integrated material prosperity with spiritual nourishment. Chapter 21, Left Hand Path of Tantra. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more. Chapter 22, Conclusion. Redacted. Please purchase the book to learn more.
Okay, so I'm gonna make sure you guys can hear me. So that was the book, and yes, that was the audio of the book. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was pretty long. I thought it was. I didn't think it was going to take that long, but it is what it is. So you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Okay. God bless. Love you. Bye.